The Halifax Examiner will challenge.
Straight up. It'll spark, kind of no bullshit.
And the reason why I think it's going to work for Tim and the Examiner is people are looking for quality.
Having Tim's project out there in the media landscape will literally be another way of looking at information.
It gives a voice and it tells stories that need to be told.
Stories that might get missed otherwise will get picked up here.
Dialogue and discussion is how we move into new places as cities, as people, as communities.
This is going to be true independent journalism.
He kind of just has a really great filter for good stories and for getting to the heart of what matters in a city.
Not only is he open about talking about things like sexism and misogyny, he's not scared to approach racial issues or things about homophobia, trans issues, sex workers.
It doesn't require you to agree with him to appreciate the kind of work he does.
You know, you want voices of dissent, you want voices of critique. That is a healthy democracy, right?
There's a real authenticity that comes through in his writing.
I've been reading The Coast for a long time, and when his stuff started appearing, it was like a fresh, interesting, sharp voice, and for me it became a must-read thing. I had to read Tim's stuff every week.
You really get a sense that he really just wants Halifax to work, and he really wants for this city to succeed by showcasing the things that aren't necessarily what we want to see here.
When I read pieces that are written by Tim, I feel like I'm being let in on a sort of inner secret, something that I shouldn't know, which is really important to the public.
If you're interested in the nuts and bolts of how decisions are made democratically in this region, you've come across Tim Bousquet's work, because you've seen him poke holes in decisions that have been made, forecast decisions that might be made, and lament decisions that have been made.
I don't always agree with what he says, and I like that. I think they make me think.
He looks at a subject from an eye that we don't get a lot of here in Halifax, honestly.
The piece that he did on Peter Kelly's handling of the estate of Mary Thibault, I read it. It was a long piece, and I read it all the way through from beginning to end, and it's the sort of thing that you put it down, and I just said to myself, wow, that was an incredible piece of journalism.
I think we can all expect that. Even if you didn't agree with Tim, you're likely to have more conversations that you wouldn't have had without him.
I want it to be the site that people come to and they say, this is where I find out something I can't find anywhere else. This is where I'm going to get some attitude, some confrontation. I'm going to get someone challenging the powers that be. I'm going to get a different story than that nice little story I'm told that I know isn't true to begin with.
We desperately need our elected officials to know that somebody is looking over their shoulder, that they have to know, what's this going to look like if it's on the front page of the Examiner next week. That's what keeps them on the straight and narrow. That's what keeps them doing the right thing.
There is a need for adversarial journalism, I think. It pushes boundaries that don't get pushed. It starts conversations that might not otherwise start and makes people think.
Any kind of social transformation that will touch every aspect of our society can't happen without that discourse.
I think you need to be independent to do this kind of journalism. I don't think you can be working under something where there's editorial policy or there's concern about what's going to happen over here, this part of the paper, if you do this. I really do think that there needs to be an independent voice.
The Halifax Examiner will not be beholden to advertisers, and it will not be beholden to the business community. It will be beholden to its subscribers, and that's it.
People aren't going to read things that are buried in documents. They're not going to read something that's not entertaining. So you have to have somebody who can give you the information but can write it in ways that are accessible. And I think that's what Tim's talent is.
We're given this kind of, this fake narrative about how things are running the way they're supposed to run. And if you peel that back, you see there's all these other stories that are not so pretty. And I really enjoy, first of all, finding those stories, discovering them, and then telling, the community, hey, look at this story. That other story you told isn't quite so correct. Here's another way of looking at it.